Hi, I'm Congressman Scott Perry. At the beginning of each week that Congress is in session, I send out a brief update about the bills the House of Representatives likely will consider. The bills this week are as follows. S-231. The bill amends the Multinational Species Conservation Fund's Semi-Postal Stamp Act of 2010 to require such stamp to be made available to the public for an additional 4 years. H.R. 4939, 4651, 2819, 5089, 2678, 5019, 4443, 3957, 78, 4189, 5030, 5106 all deal with the renaming of various postal facilities throughout the United States. H.R. 2495, the American Supercomputing Leadership Act, which amends the Department of Energy High-End Computing Revitalization Act of 2004 to improve the high-end computing research and development program of the Department of Energy. H.R. 5309, the Tsunami Warning Education and Research Act of 2014, which authorizes and strengthens the tsunami detection, forecast, warning, research, and mitigation program of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. H.R. 744, the Stopping Tax Offenders and Prosecuting Identity Theft Act of 2014, which would make the prosecution of tax return identity theft a greater priority and strengthen the penalties against identity thieves. It would also expand the definition of an identity theft victim to include not only individuals, but also businesses and organizations that have had their identities stolen for phishing schemes in an attempt to get sensitive information from consumers. H.R. 3109, which amends the Migratory Bird Treaty Act to exempt certain Alaskan Native articles from prohibitions against sale of items containing non-edible migratory bird parts. H.R. 4283, which amends the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act to authorize the Secretary of the Interior to maintain or replace certain facilities and structures for commercial recreation services at Smith Gulch in Idaho. H.J. Res. 120, which approves the location of a memorial to commemorate the more than 5,000 slaves and free black persons who fought for independence in the American Revolution. H.R. 4527, which removes a use restriction on land that was formerly a part of Acadia National Park that was transferred to the town of Tremont, Maine. H.R. 4751, to make technical corrections to Public Law 110-229 to reflect the renaming of the Bainbridge Island Japanese American Exclusion Memorial. H.R. 5057, the EPS Service Parts Act of 2014, which amend the Energy Policy and Conservation Act to permit exemptions for external power supplies from certain efficiency standards. Senate 276, which reinstates and extends the deadline for commencement of construction of a hydroelectric project involving the American Falls Reservoir. H.R. 5161, the E-Label Act. This legislation would allow electronic manufacturers to display the required Federal Communications FCC label of approval electronically instead of physically on the device or product. H.R. 4067, which provides for the extension of the enforcement instruction on supervision requirements for outpatient therapeutic services in critical access and small rural hospitals through 2014. H.R. 4701, the Vector-Borne Disease Research Accountability and Transparency Act of 2014, which amends the Public Health Service Act to require the directors of the National Institutes of Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to develop scientific frameworks for research on at least 2 vector-borne diseases that have a high domestic incidence and to convene a working group for each identified disease. H.R. 4290, the Wakefield Act, which amends the Public Health Service Act to reauthorize the Emergency Medical Services for Children program. H.R. 3670, the Anti-Spoofing Act of 2013. Caller ID spoofing is the scrambling of caller identification numbers. It is a tool often used to defraud unwitting recipients of phone calls and text messages. This bill broadens current law to prohibit caller ID spoofing from foreigners. The bill also expands current law to include new internet-based voice-over IP service that enables callers to make outgoing-only calls from computers and tablets to mobile and landline phones. H.R. 669, the Sudden Unexpected Death Data Enhancement and Awareness Act, would enhance awareness regarding unexpected sudden death in early life and improve the surveillance and collection of critical data when investigating these tragic deaths. Specifically, it would improve the development of standard protocols used by medical examiners in death scene investigation and autopsies surrounding these deaths, and it would allow the Secretary of Health and Human Services, HHS, to conduct training activities regarding these protocols. H.R. 5078, the Waters of the United States Regulatory Overreach Protection Act of 2014. The bill prohibits the Environmental Protection Agency and the Army Corps of Engineers from developing, finalizing, adopting, implementing, applying, administering, or enforcing the proposed rule that would redefine the waters of the United States under the Clean Water Act. House Resolution 664, which condemns and disapproves of the Obama administration's failure to comply with the lawful statutory requirement to notify Congress before releasing the Taliban 5. H.R. 3522, the Employee Health Care Protection Act of 2013, would allow health insurance currently available on the group market to continue to be offered, providing for the opportunity for Americans who purchase health plans on the group market to keep the health plans they currently have and like. As always, if you have any questions or if I may be of assistance to you or your family in any way, please contact me at perry.house.gov. That's perry.house.gov. Again, I'm Scott Perry, and I hope you have a fantastic week.